Hello, I'm Sheron. Welcome to my home studio. Today we're going to have a restorative practice together. It'll be a short practice, just a few poses. So you might want to have a few things handy for your practice today. Bolster. If you don't have a bolster, then a folded blanket or a towel. If you're not sure how to make an alternative to a bolster, I do have a video in my playlist that is all about improvising a bolster. So a bolster, you might want a blanket for extra padding, or even just for a layer if you start to cool down. And I have a variety of blocks as well, some of the chip blocks and then some of the dense blocks as well. And that's mostly so that our body feels comfortable and supported while we're in the poses, so that we can fully relax and receive the benefits of the practice. When you're ready, we're going to start with a little check-in and some breath work. And so any comfortable position, that could be seated, could be lying down. You want to feel like it's easy to connect with your breath and that your body feels supported and stable. Let's begin with a breath in and let it go with a sigh. Begin by letting go of any tension that doesn't need to be here right now. And then notice what remains. What sensations are present in your body? What information can be gathered to not only support yourself, but perhaps to help guide your practice today? Remember, at any time during the practice, stop, back up, come out of a pose, modify it. So keep checking in with you today. Let's shift our focus to our breath, beginning by feeling the breath as it comes in and out of the nose. Cool inhales and warm exhales. And then shifting the focus to the throat and feeling the breath as it moves up and down this area of your body. And then shifting deeper into the body, bringing awareness now to the lungs. Noticing or imagining the sensation, the filling and emptying of the lungs. And then as the lungs are filling, noticing the response of the rib cage. Is it moving? If it's not, can you allow it to? So as you're inhaling, can you allow your rib cage to expand, to relax? And as the lungs are emptying, what's happening with the rib cage here again? Can you allow the ribs to shrink, to come back to neutral, or even to work a little bit deeper in away from neutral. So let's have, if it's comfortable, 2 or 3 exaggerated breaths here in the chest cavity, growing the rib cage on the inhales and shrinking the rib cage on the exhales. Letting this be about opening up, waking up the respiratory system, but also of warming up the ribs, the spine. One more of those softly exaggerated ribcage breaths. And then allow your breath to come back to something that feels neutral. And then shift the focus of breath down to the belly. And here, notice what sort of movement is happening with the belly as you breathe. Is there any movement? And then let's add in movement if there isn't any. So inhale, belly expands, relaxes, expands. And as you exhale, belly softly recedes. Belly button comes in towards the spine. And again, let's do maybe 3 or 4 of these kind of exaggerated belly breaths. Inhaling to expand the belly outwards. Let it be more almost about relaxing and receiving rather than pushing. And then on the exhales, drawing in. So using some effort to bring the belly button in towards the spine. Expelling the breath completely. Last one. And again, let your breath become natural or neutral. And let's pause here in neutral breath for, again, another 3 or 4 rounds. All right, we're going to begin with the restorative twist. All the poses that I'm presenting today are going to be in their basic form. If you know other ways of practicing these poses, then please feel free to do so. If you're uncertain, go in and out of the poses with care. Stop anytime you need to. So I'm going to take my bolster here, put it beside me, bend my knees, have my feet over to one side. The edge of the bolster is near my hips. I put a block underneath the head of the bolster. You don't need to do that, that's optional. Hands come onto either side, and I'm going to turn myself towards the bolster, lie down onto the bolster, and then turn my head so that my cheek and ear come to rest on the bolster. So we can simply stay with the legs as they are. I like to stack my knees, takes pressure sometimes off the hips and the low back. Your arms can stay where they are, or you can play around with positions in the arms as well. Make little adjustments here and there, sometimes even an inch, half an inch one direction or another can make or break the pose. If you feel like you're going to fall off the back edge of the bolster, shift yourself slightly forward. And if you feel like you're going to fall off the front edge, shift yourself back. When you feel like you've got all your body parts in roughly the right place, let a big breath in and let it go with a sigh. And then relax. Restorative yoga is all about rest. We want to feel like we are supported, stable, restful. Your breath can simply be natural and comfortable, or it can allow a slightly deeper breath to come in and perhaps even play around some different areas. Perhaps breathing into the back body, or feeling like you're breathing down into the hips. But not bringing so much focus and attention to the breath that it takes away from awareness of the body in the pose. Eyes can be open or closed. Relax your jaw. Every once in a while, check in. If tension has crept in, let it go. If the mind has become but busy, perhaps let a breath in, let it go with a sigh. Keep giving yourself permission to surrender. Let's bring another breath in deep into the body and let it go. As you come out of the pose, take your time. Let the coming into and out of the poses be just as important as the being in the poses. So be mindful of the breath and the way that the body is moving and the sensations. Pause at the top. If there is anything that your body feels compelled to do before switching sides, then please feel free to do that. For side 2, I'm going to change my position here so that you can see a slightly different perspective of this pose. So I'm going to face the front of the mat here. So again, I've got a block underneath the head of the bolster. That is optional. I'm sitting to the side. I'll bring the bolster towards my hip. Plant hands on either side. Turn towards the bolster. Bring my belly and chest. Turn my head. And then, again, I like to stack the knees, but you can play around with different positions. And then decide what the arms want to do. Notice if you are, in fact, supported fully on the bolster. Make any adjustments, left, right. Let a breath in and let it go. Allow each exhale to be a tool in helping you surrender, letting go of another layer. Relax your jaw. Soften around your eyes. Feel your breath as it comes in and out. Anytime you get pulled away by some sort of distraction, gently and kindly bring yourself back. Left and right side of poses can feel different. So what do you notice in this pose right now that maybe you didn't notice on side one? Let a breath in and let it go. Take your time coming out. Let the exit from the pose be a pose in itself. From here we're coming into a forward fold. Lots of different ways that we can work with forward fold in restorative practice. I'll show you a couple different ways. If you already know how you want to get in, go ahead and do so. So I have a bolster here under my knees. I can be sitting either just on the floor or maybe on a blanket or a block. As I come into the forward fold, I don't want to feel like I'm pulling myself towards my body. I want it to feel relaxed and easy. If I need more height, I can add a block underneath the bolster. So the more of a bend there is in the knee, the easier it will be to come into this surrendering position forward. Some people as well like to have some support under the head. So you could use a chip block or some other object as a support for the head to rest on. Again, that's optional. So you want to feel comfortable for your body today. So when you're ready, go ahead, get yourself set up, make any modifications. Have a sense of expanding, of lengthening, and then of surrendering softly forward. Relax your jaw. Let a breath in, let it go. Relax your shoulders, your arms. Relax your legs. Move into rest and away from doing. Let your breath either be soft and comfortable, or allow your breath to focus somewhere into the body, perhaps the back body, maybe up into the shoulders, or down into the hips. If your eyes are open, find a focal point, some point, spot on the floor, your mat, maybe a design in your socks if you're wearing socks, and just allow your eyes to rest there. If your eyes are closed, let your focus perhaps come to softly watching the breath. By giving yourself a soft focal point, whether it's internal or external, will allow you to stay with the pose, stay with your body. And each time you get pulled away, you gently bring yourself back to that focal point, to that anchor, and allow yourself to rest there. In our practice today, we're holding these poses for a shorter period of time. As your body gets used to this practice and you begin to have a familiarity with how to support yourself, you can stay longer in the poses. We want to give our bodies an opportunity to drop. Let go of layers of stress and tension, activity, and drop into stillness and calm. Let a breath in and let it go. Take your time coming out. Again, make any movements. Any movements that you are choosing to make, let them be on the slow and quiet side as well. Listen in to the needs of your body and see if you can find or gather information. And then respond to that information with gentle movement. All right, our final pose for our practice today is heart bed, also known as the easy breathing pose. So again, you'll want a bolster or some sort of support for underneath the spine. There's, again, lots of variations to this pose. I'll talk through the basic. So I'll bring the bolster behind me now, a little bit of space between me and the bolster. I know that my low back generally prefers a little extra support, so I'm going to have a chip block handy. I'll lie back along the length, support my head as I come down. As soon as I get here, what I like to do is lift the hips up and down a couple times. This just feels good in the low back and brings a little bit of circulation into the hips and legs as well. And then I'll settle in and check. And yes, as my low back usually does, it would like some height. So I'll lift the hips up again, put a chip block. You can also use a blanket underneath the buttocks. Arms traditionally come out to T-position or shoulder height. If this is too much sensation, if it's hard to relax, put some blocks or folded blankets or towels underneath the forearms to lift them up. Or come in and out of the arm part of this pose several times if you like through the duration of the pose. And that could be bringing the arms close into the body or even resting the arms over the torso. So you can keep your knees bent with your feet on the floor. You can also allow your legs to extend. Each time you make a modification in a pose, pause for a moment and feel into it. How does your body respond to that movement, to that adjustment, to that prop? If you can't relax, is there a way that you can shift it so that your body can relax? And when you feel settled in, let a breath in, let it go. So the other name of the easy breathing part of this pose is that the bolster underneath the rib cage props the rib cage up slightly and creates some space for easy movement of the diaphragm. So your focus in this pose might be a light focus on the movement of the ribs, or the movement of the diaphragm, or movement of the belly, or a combination of. Again, let go of any unnecessary tension or holding. Soften around the eyes. Relax the chest muscles and the fronts of the shoulders. Each time you get pulled away, kindly and gently return. Feel the physical body being supported by the props and the floor beneath you. Let everything else go off to the side. If it's important, you can pick it up later. For now, give yourself permission to fully be in this pose. Let a breath come in, let it go. Keep awareness in the neck and the low back as you come out of this pose. If it's possible, roll onto your side to come off the bolster. Maybe use a hand underneath your head to support the neck as you lift up. Again, see if there's anything else that your body needs or wants to do for movement. We're coming into our relaxation pose here. So take the next maybe 10, 15 breaths to just let anything else happen. What would feel good right now? And this might also be just the time where you gather up blankets or any other props that you might want for Shavasana. So when you are ready, go ahead and find your way into relaxation. Bolster or a layer of blankets or folded towels underneath the knees will help to not only let the legs relax, but also the low back. If you think you'll cool down, drape yourself with a blanket. Check in to see if you need height underneath your head. When you initially find your way into position, do a little bit of wiggling around. Adjust props, adjust clothing. Feel as though you are lying on a beach and you're trying to nestle yourself into the sand. And then let a big breath in here and let it go. Let your whole body relax. Relax your feet, toes, ankles. Relax your lower legs, knees, upper legs. Relax your hips, buttocks, low back, middle back, upper back. Relax your belly and your chest. Relax your fingers, thumbs, the palms of your hands, wrists, lower arms, elbows, upper arms. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck and your throat, your scalp, forehead, eyes, nose, lips, tongue, upper and lower jaw. Let your whole body relax, inside and out. We'll be shifting into a few moments of silence, and when my voice stops, each time you get distracted or pulled away, kindly and gently bring yourself back. Connect with the body in relaxation. Let your breath begin to deepen. Let your body slowly start to move, wiggling fingers and toes, and then letting it build from there. What would feel just right? Stretching the arms over the head, maybe bringing the knees into the chest for a hug. When those movements feel complete, slowly roll onto your side and gently bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to join me in closing and completing our practice, let's bring hands to heart center. So in yoga, the center of the chest, or the space behind the sternum, is the symbolic heart. I'd like to bring some warmth into the hands, give them a good rub to get some friction going. One hand to the center of the chest and the other on top. Pause here for a moment. Thank yourself for being here today, for giving yourself this gift of practice. As well, if there are any parts of your body that are feeling particularly nourished, comfortable, take a moment and acknowledge that. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to practice with you again soon.